During the course of making my last video featuring Superman Returns, I came to realize that there is a schism in the superhero movie game. To me, it became clear that some movies were put together better than others. That doesn't make them necessarily a more enjoyable flick. But certainly when you watch these movies, it's a lot more of a nuanced experience. I mean, it's beyond, the punches, it's beyond the kicks, it's beyond explosions. These films that I'm talking about now, I mean, the tapestry of these films is a little different. It's denser. With more intricate detail than other movies. It's what I call a higher thread count to these movies, if you will. So for future reference, we're just going to regard these as high thread count superhero movies to differentiate from other movies. So in chronological order of their release, here are my impressions of the high thread count superhero movie, starting with the granddaddy here, Superman the movie from 1978 by Richard Donner. The reason why this is a high thread count movie is basically because there was no template for the so-called superhero movie back in 1978 when this was put together. There was no precedence. So Donner was pretty much clearing the way in creating this movie. I mean, he was simply trying to make a major motion picture that just happened to feature a superhero. You're going to find that approach to the movie making is going to be a common denominator to most, if not all, the movies I'm going to feature in this movie. So, first one, 1978, Superman the movie. Now, with my next feature, the first thing you're going to realize is that there's going to be a lot of time that's lapsed between 1978 and this particular movie. Number 2, 2002's Blade 2, Guillermo del Toro. I think this movie is the best made of the three Blade, Wesley Snipes Blade movies. I mean, of course, with the third movie, that's not saying much, but this movie dug a little deeper, and it has a richer backstory than the first Blade movie that came out in 1998. Next movie, X2, X-Men United by Bryan Singer, featuring the best opening scene ever, featuring Nightcrawler. Check that out. And in fact, I do prefer the Nightcrawler sequence to the Quicksilver sequence that was in Days of Future Past, which, spoiler, is later on in this video. Next, we have got Batman Begins from 2003. Now, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of Nolan's Batman. There's a lot of things that I don't like, more so than the things that I do. Despite the fact that you see the Christopher Nolan, director's collection behind you right here, which I got at a great deal. I believe it was an Amazon flash sale for like 10 to 15 bucks. But even at that, game recognizes game, Even if I don't particularly like it, it is a well-made movie. Now, before I go forward, let me just introduce two other films that I do not possess. I do not own these two movies. I just set these up basically as a prop for the purposes of this video. The first one is Ang Lee's The Hulk. Very divisive movie still to this day. It spent too much time being a movie and not enough being a superhero movie, as far as I was concerned. And then you got Kenneth Branagh's Thor. I mean, both of these, not necessarily highbrow affairs, but they are definitely high thread count affairs. A lot of craftsmanship went into these movies. Unfortunately, for me, it just was not enough to take. Next on the list, we've already discussed this in detail in the prior video, Superman Returns by Bryan Singer, 2006. Be sure to check out my full video at the link, which I'll provide at the end of this particular video. Next up is, I believe, our first MCU edition here in Captain America, The First Avenger. This is from 2011 by Joe Johnston. I think he's gone on to do a couple Jurassic World movies. So, most of these directors you're going to find in this list, they're going to be, directors of note. There is no one-hit wonders, no jokes anywhere as far as the director's concerned. Again, this is the Superman Returns of the MCU. It's a slow burn, but the thing is, each and every beat, as slow as it is, is absolutely necessary to telling the whole story of Captain America. Next on the list, we've got 2013's The Wolverine by James Mangold. Again, director of note, 310 to Yuma, Ford and Ferrari versus Ferrari, the current Indiana Jones flick, which is getting a lot of flack, but not by virtue of any direction or directorial decisions made by Johnston. This movie is absolutely epic in scope. The superhero aspect of Wolverine in this movie is pretty much tamped down for 3/4 of its running time. Next, on our high thread count superhero movie list is 2013's Man of Steel by Zack Snyder. This is his masterpiece. And this is the DC movie universe's masterpiece. The problem is that this movie was the first out the gate, which was supposed to be the harbinger to an entire new universe. Thing is, all the following movies just could not match what this movie's done for nearly going on for 10 years now. Next, we've got X-Men, Days of Future Past by Bryan Singer. This is 2014. This is basically a high-level comic book by John Byrne, brought to life as a high-level, next-level, high thread count superhero movie. Next is 2017's Logan. Again, pairing up with James Mangold. No real tonal changes between this and the Wolverine made 4 years earlier. It's a slow burn of a movie, it just stays at a high level. It doesn't. There's no crescendos here. It's just a nice, steady, high level filmmaking experience. Next on the list, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman from 2017. This is one hell of a superhero movie. This is one hell of a World War II movie. Problem is, it is 1/3 act away from perfection. A lot of nice world building put together that just went all bonkers with a crazy third act. Next, we've got 2 movies in the MCU from Ryan Coogler, both Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. Black Panther being 2018, Wakanda Forever being 2022. I'll be going into much more detail with these 2 movies in a future video, but both are examples of next level world building and next level storytelling. And last on our list is The Batman, 2022, Matt Reeves. Dark and moody. Reeves created a city that just reeks of that particular tone, dark and moody. He pretty much redefines what makes a Batman movie in his casting of Robert Pattinson in the title role, pretty much in the way that Tim Burton did 30 years ago with Michael Keaton. So of all the superhero movies we have out in circulation, that is my list of what I call, again, high thread count superhero movies. What is yours? I'm dying to hear from folks out there. I would love to have some comments, some feedback. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd like to get the channel going, get it to grow a bit, so we can do some special things going forward. Have a nice day.